Okay, so we already know that Taco Tuesday didn't extend the Kuzma trade deal. And we know a lot of business owners are going through a lot of uncertainty right now on both sides of the border. Although I don't really care about their side of the border, only ours. But with the Kuzma agreement not renewed, it just leaves a lot of uncertainty when it has to be reviewed annually. And that's far too risky for some businesses. And CTV has a report that many businesses in Canada have already moved or are considering moving to the United States. I don't like it, but what can we really do? I mean, an agreement that has been around for decades was just made unstable by an unstable baby. And in this video, I have a report from CTV. And they talked to a Canadian manufacturing company, and if they want to survive, they may have no choice but to move to the United States. But I also have another report from CGTN, and they look at the other side of the border, between the Mexico and the United States. And they give an update on how the trade situation is going on the southern border. But after hearing both stories, it actually makes me more upset about this tweet right here. And it's a tweet from Senator Adam Schiff. I did a video on this a couple days ago. If you haven't seen this video yet, I'll leave it in the pinned comment below. And I highly advise you to watch that video after you watch this one. Because I'm pretty sure Adam Schiff has no idea what's going on with our trade industry and how his country is making it difficult for us and the rest of the world. But all he really cares about is his state's wine industry, not about anybody else except for that. So I'm going to give my further thoughts on Adam Schiff after this, because after hearing about what's happened to our Canadian manufacturing, I feel like I need to go off on this guy again. So let's get started first with a report from the southern border.
Eagle Pass, Texas, where bridges across the Rio Grande see a constant flow of trucks in both directions between Mexico and the United States. These neighbouring countries are mutual top trade partners, but US President Donald Trump's announcement that he will not renew the USMCA free trade agreement has sent shockwaves through this region of North America.
Well, it's not just that region, it's the northern part as well. And also internationally as well, too. Now, I remember seeing a comment from somebody saying, you know what, just wait 2 years. I mean, when a Democratic president comes back in, he'll fix things. Well, in my opinion, that's not 100% guaranteed. And in 2 years, that's a lot of damage that could be done to the trade industry. If a company in Mexico or Canada are deciding to move to the US to avoid the tariffs, they're not going to move back in 2 years.
Behind me, hundreds of trucks cross this border every day, carrying goods worth annual sums in the billions of dollars. But the Trump administration's refusal to renew USMCA has left those trade volumes, as well as the jobs they support here in Eagle Pass, facing an uncertain future. In downtown Eagle Pass, an area already struggling with decreased tourism volumes from across the river, the news has many locals concerned.
I don't know what's going to happen. Like me as a small business owner, I'm trying to do more things. Hopefully, we don't come to another recession.
Now, I actually had to look up where Eagles Pass is in Texas, and it looks like it's literally on the border. And it looks like there's 2 border crossings. But then again, this is a town in Texas, and we know how Texas voted. I don't specifically know who this guy voted for that they're talking to, but the state itself is a contributing factor on why we're in this shit to begin with. So keep that in mind when they're talking about Eagles Pass.
Hopefully. But how I see everything is like if you are in a desert, everything's so calm in the business-wise.
It's not only local businesses that fear the end of 32 years of free trade. Goods travelling between these countries overwhelmingly move on 18 wheels, and truckers like Julio Garcia are set to be impacted by decreased volumes.
Yeah, we kind of worry a lot about that. It's not good because it's gonna lower our jobs. And I live in the border town, so we got a lot of commercial trucks coming from Mexico to Laredo. It's gonna be bad.
Now, our good friend of the community, Josh from the Enemy From Within channel, has been giving updates when it comes to the trucking industry. And he's mentioned many times that truck stops are empty when they should be full, and they're full when they should be empty. And honestly, I do worry for our friend. But this is not just going to affect the truckers in the United States. It's going to affect the truckers in Mexico as well as Canada. And Mexico and Canada, we didn't ask for any of this. The US administration basically caused all of this. Now, I don't know where that trucker's from. If he's from Mexico, then I feel for him. But if he's a trucker from the United States and voted for Taco Tuesday, then I have zero sympathy for him. Now, if you're wondering where this photo came from, it's a joke that I sent over to Josh because he actually requested this, because I showed it on our live stream. Last year, when we first started talking, he was making fun of Nickelback. So I thought I would create this image for him, so then that way he can look at this photograph anytime he wants. I'm sure he'll eventually see this.
Economists warn any reduction in cross-border trade would be felt first in communities like Eagle Pass, where local economies depend on the daily movement of goods across the Rio Grande.
It's going to affect a lot if they close the market. We need open markets. We need a global. We need better proposals. Something that we need to get together and just talk about it. It can get better.
Well, it might get better when 47 is 6 feet under, but it won't ever be the same, so just remember that.
The US decision not to renew USMCA doesn't abruptly end the pact, instead triggering a sunset clause that mandates yearly reviews for another 10 years. While the community here remains nervous, that period is giving people to hope that a new deal guaranteeing free trade will ultimately emerge. Alistair Baverstock, CGTN, Eagle Pass, Texas.
Now that we're in the yearly review phase of CUSMA, businesses on all sides of the border now have confirmation. It's not a good confirmation, it's just confirmation that everything is going to be up in the air. Which brings us back to our side of the border in Canada, where this manufacturing company has to make a real decision if they stay in Canada or if they move to the United States. Let's get started.
This is Fiber, a farm equipment manufacturing company in Crystal City, Manitoba, co-founded by Derek Friesen's dad.
We love our people and our communities.
But Friesen says the current climate of U.S. trade uncertainty, combined with Canadian red tape and regulations, has him musing about a move south of the border.
I don't know if it's in our very short term, but at some point, if this continues, we definitely will have to continue to service our customers.
Now, I know what I'm going to say might have mixed reviews, but in my opinion, if the only way for this company to survive is to move to the United States, which is basically avoiding the tariffs, then what other choice does he have? In the past, I've had clients whose primary manufacturing 100% goes to the United States, and they had 0% go to Canada. It's just how their business model worked, which now I'm kind of wondering if they still exist or not. I'll have to check that later. But if a company like this wants to survive and their only option is to move to the United States, personally, I can't blame them. The person I do blame is the one that's putting on the tariffs and the one that didn't renew CUSMA, which is something I'm pretty sure Adam Schiff doesn't really give a shit about. I'll get to him later. Trust me, I feel it building up inside me.
There's certainly certain advantages of moving production to the U.S., including, having a more streamlined supply chain, access to a larger customer base.
A new survey from KPMG shows 42% of Canadian manufacturers are considering moving production south or already have. 57% have paused, cut back, or canceled capital investment projects. And 61% say their business can't survive without access to the United States.
Now, I'm not going to lie, but these numbers are a little bit concerning to me. But I always have to remember who's putting the roadblock in front of it. It sure as hell isn't Canada. And we were fine with the agreement, which I should add, the Taco Tuesday guy actually created it. And now he says it's a bad deal. Go figure. So I'll ask this question. Is this a next-door neighbor that we want to continue dealing with in the future? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
Canadian companies are no longer in the wait-and-see mode.
Canadian manufacturers and exporters saw similar results from their own survey. The CEO says trying to work around tariffs makes Canadian companies less competitive.
It is the worst of all worlds when you have a situation where you can't really predict what the future is going to be.
Dennis Darby says members are watching Toyota's decision to move some production out of Mexico closely.
I think it's going to be the largest plant in the world, car plant, and they're moving into the United States. And again, they're doing that to avoid paying the tariff.
I think the worry meter should be high.
International trade lawyer William Pellerin expects to see similar moves out of Canada, though any potential automaker move won't happen in the short term due to government backing.
Well, I honestly hope that nothing happens to the Canada auto industry. But we can't forget that we're dealing with a toddler here, and he's not going to listen to anyone, not even Congress. So if he decides he wants to pull the auto industry out of Canada, I don't know, who's going to stop him?
For sure it will happen in the wood product space. We're seeing that with our clients right now in that space. A lot of small towns will go from having an important manufacturer to nothing.
KPMG found 11% of Canadian manufacturers plan to move their headquarters to the U.S., and with manufacturers making up more than 10% of Canada's GDP, experts say even that relatively small number could have a big impact on our economy.
So I just showed you a little bit on what the impact is of not renewing CUSMA. and how the United States are making things difficult for us. I mean, this is lasting damage that no future president is going to be able to fix. Which kind of makes Adam Schiff's tweet that happened a few days ago a little bit more infuriating if you ask me. Because claiming that California doesn't agree with the tariff war, the war that's actually like causing our businesses to either shut down or have to move to the United States, you can't separate yourself from that, Adam. It's still part of your country. It's like being on a sports team and your captain is a complete idiot and decides to like foul the other team. You can't say I don't agree with my captain, so exempt me. You're part of the same team. For me, this really shows a lot about Adam's character. He doesn't care about us. And people are saying that he's maybe doing this for his constituents and, you know, the businesses that might have donated to his campaign. And someone even mentioned that he might have a stake in the wine industry. I don't know. But I would not be surprised at all if that's the case. But it's very clear to me that the Democrats are no friend of Canada. Now, of course, I would love to have them in the office in the United States over what's in the office right now. But they're no friend of Canada. And apparently my previous video pissed off a lot of US citizens on a pro-USA subreddit, primarily those on the left, because they're saying that Adam is one of the good guys. I guess they can't handle criticism of the country and think that everybody else around the world is wrong. Well, in my books, he's just as bad as Claudia Tenney, the one who's like creating that Canada Act. Because it's obvious that Senator Adam Schiff does not care about our industries or our manufacturing industries. I don't think he's ever mentioned them. But all he cares about is getting the California wine back on the shelves. But it's not isolated to him. I mean, this is really the whole USA. Rules for thee, but not for me. Or in Adam's case, I don't care about your industries, but make sure my wine industry is fine. So I want to thank you, Adam, for actually showing your true colors. And this Canadian here, and I'm sure there's going to be a few others that are watching this right now, we're not going to forget this. And I could hold a grudge for a very, very long time. I know I said earlier that I was probably going to blow up on Adam Schiff, but I realized he's not worth it. So Adam, if you want the booze back on our shelves, you better go convince your commander-in-chief. Otherwise...
And Manitoba's Wab Canoe said this about lifting an alcohol ban amid failed trade talks.
No Kuzma, no Boozma.
Well said, Wab, and I stand behind that. So Adam, I speak for myself when I tell you to go fuck off. Let me know your thoughts in comments below. What are your thoughts on like our Canadian industry suffering and Adam asking to put the booze back on? It's hypocritical, isn't it? Let me know your thoughts below. To close off this video, I would like to thank Canuck from our Discord for posting this photo from Kearney, Ontario. I think everybody knows I have a soft spot for water and I miss it, because I've been getting a lot of them lately. But I want to thank you, Canuck, for posting this in the Discord server. Alright everyone, that's it for this video. If you found any value in anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international point of view, without the US media bias, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below. That way you'll be notified of my future videos. And don't forget to hit the bell icon and select all as well. Now, if you want to see more of my videos, check out the ones that are going to show up on your screen shortly. Thanks everyone, I'll catch you in the next one.